When the overzealous professor got corrected on his university's policy, I was in my last semester of college and only had one class left for my major. Everything else was just random stuff to hit the minimum units to graduate. When I saw who was teaching it, my stomach dropped. Professor Davis. I'd had him freshman year for another required class, and he was the absolute worst. Like, this guy was on a serious power trip. He'd dock your grade for being even 5 minutes late. He'd yell at students in front of everyone if they asked a question he thought was stupid. He made you feel like an idiot for existing in his classroom. I remember one time freshman year, this girl asked him to repeat something because she didn't hear him. He literally stopped the entire lecture, looked at her and went, "Maybe if you weren't on your phone, you would have heard me the first time." She wasn't even on her phone. She was taking notes, but he didn't care. So yeah, seeing his name on my schedule was basically my nightmare. But I needed this class to graduate, and there were no other sections available. I was stuck. The semester starts, and I get sick like 2 days before the first class. Not just a little cold either. I had a fever of 102 and could barely get out of bed. There was no way I could go to class on Tuesday. The class met twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I figured I'd just show up Thursday, explain what happened, and everything would be fine. Most professors don't even care if you miss the first day. I walk into class Thursday morning, and Professor Davis is already standing at the front with his arms crossed. He gives me this look the second I walk in, like I'd personally offended him by showing up. I went up to him before class started, reintroduced myself since it had been like 3 years, and explained I'd missed Tuesday because I was sick. I even offered to show him the doctor's note I got. He just nodded and waved me away like I was bothering him. I thought that was it. Crisis avoided, class goes fine. I take notes, participate when he asks questions, everything's normal. Then the class ends and everyone starts packing up. Professor Davis goes, "Hey, can you stay back for a second? I need to talk to you." My stomach immediately dropped because I knew it wasn't going to be good. Everyone files out and it's just me and him in this empty classroom. He's got this smile on his face, not a nice smile, the kind of smile someone gets right before they ruin your day. He goes, "So, since you missed my first class on the first week of the semester, I'm allowed to drop you from the course. You'll have to take it next semester." Sorry. He didn't sound sorry at all. He sounded thrilled. I just stared at him. Wait, what? But I was sick. I have a doctor's note. He shrugs and goes, "Doesn't matter. University policy says I can drop students who miss the first class. You should have showed up." Here's the thing though. I knew the actual policy. I'd read through the whole student handbook during freshman year because I'm paranoid about stuff like this. The policy was that professors could drop you if you missed 50% of classes during the first 2 weeks. So if a class met 4 times in those 2 weeks, you had to miss at least 2 classes to get dropped. I'd only missed 1 out of 4. He literally could not drop me. But I didn't argue with him right there. I just said okay and left. I went straight to our department building, which was like a 2-minute walk. I was so angry I could feel my hands shaking. I get to the building and there's this admin assistant sitting right by the elevator. I knew her from previous visits. Her name was Carol and she was always super helpful. I walked up and said, "Hey Carol, quick question about the drop policy. If a class meets 4 times in the first 2 weeks, how many classes do you have to miss before a professor can drop you?" She goes, "Oh, that's easy, 50%. So you'd have to miss 2 classes." Why? I explained the whole situation, how I'd missed 1 class out of 4 because I was sick and Professor Davis told me he was dropping me anyway. Carol's face immediately went from friendly to annoyed. She goes, "That's not how the policy works at all. Do you want me to explain it to him?" Right at that exact moment, the elevator dings and the doors open. And who walks out? Professor Davis. The timing was absolutely perfect. I turned to him and in the sweetest, most innocent voice I could manage said, "Professor Davis, would you mind if Carol explains the drop policy to you? I don't think you're very familiar with it." His face went completely white, like all the blood just drained out. Carol didn't miss a beat. She looked right at him and said, "The policy is 50% of class meetings in the first 2 weeks. Your class meets 4 times. He missed 1. You can't drop him." Professor Davis just stood there. He couldn't even look at me. He mumbled something about misunderstanding the policy and got back in the elevator. Carol winked at me and said, "You're all set, honey. Let me know if he gives you any more trouble." I ended up passing that class with a B. Professor Davis barely looked at me the rest of the semester, and every time he called on me in class, I made sure to smile real big. Worth it.